Episode 62 on BU Squalor, coming off the high of winning a Super Bowl for the first time in this series. First playoff win, too, because we went to the playoffs 3 years in a row. Oh, no, Matt, I take that back. Mike McCarthy won a playoff game, so one playoff game win. Well, anyways, let's look at the Super Bowl score. You can see that our fourth quarter just turned on the Jets and just eliminated the competition. Marcus Mariota had a terrible game, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, a couple of bounce tip passes or whatever. 45% completion percentage. That was just terrible. Aaron Rodgers, 84, not the greatest game, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It was a costly interception that allowed them to score their first touchdown and only touchdown of the game. And then the defense held on that long pass play thanks to Aaron Womack knocking him out of bounds. A 52-yard long from Matt Jones, who was the Super Bowl MVP, 5.4 yards a carry. Thomas Wooten, who was dangerous, just couldn't get it done. The Packers defense came to play, and everybody else just got held to nobodies. It's a great job by him. Dorrell Beckham Green. Maybe there's no junior at the end of it. I don't remember, but 75-yard was his long. 162 yards. So 4 catches, 190-some yards is still great. Ramel Foreman was our leading receiver with 10 catches, showing that he should be re-signed, but unfortunately the Packers just cannot re-sign him. Shaheem Favors leading the way, 68 yards. So we only had 248 passing yards, and see that Matt Jones, Mari Cooper, and Devontae Adams were held to 1 catch each. So it was just our tight end, linebackers, and he had a touchdown, 52-yarder. It's so dangerous when that go route on the defense. Talking about the defense, Womack, he had the biggest tackle of the game when he pushed Dorrell Beckham Jr., whatever his name is, Dorrell Green. I want to call Odell Beckham, but it's, Dorrell Green Jr., Beckham Green? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. Pushed him out of bounds, saving the touchdown, and that just turned the game around. The sacks, they came very few, but Merrill Clark, 1 each. The interceptions, 3 interceptions. Very, very vital, except for Haha's was more of a punt one, but I think Jones had a really important one. Darby had a great interception. There was 1 forced fumble by Danielle Hunter. That was a great play. Punt returning, 16 yards on average. Kick returning, 31 yards. Shaheem Favors is just amazing. We're going to finish this game. It's going in the record books. The Packers won the Super Bowl, marking it down, making another save for this one post-Super Bowl. And we'll continue the offseason next. But first, we must glow in the glory of a virtual Super Bowl champions, the Green Bay Packers. Heck yeah. Best seasons I've ever had in Madden. Like, it's just amazing. I just hit my controller on the desk. I'm just still shocked in what happened there with the playoff run. I played a playoff game once a day, no more, right? In the beginning of the day or whatever it was. Played the playoff game. We continued on. The next day I played a playoff game, recorded the episode, whatever, And I think if I'd have played 2 playoff games in a row, it would have been too much time in one day just playing football, Madden, like that. So doing that way made it just seem like such a more memorable experience, because I got to think about the playoff game the prior time and how it went and everything, and the fact that, we won each time, but the wild card game was the Bears, and we just trashed the Bears. Divisional round was the Rams, and I backed out of the Rams game prior to starting it to play it to sign some free agents, and then I didn't do it, and actually did that before the Super Bowl, so that's why that's that. And 26-13, the conference championship game was the close one, with Green Bay going down at the end and scoring a game-winning field goal, basically, knowing that we were going to play the Titans, which had already beat us in the prior year, and then the Super Bowl, which was just a nail-biter until the fourth quarter, and Tennessee just fell apart. So, it was just such a great experience as a Packer general manager in Madden. I know I'm overselling it, but our Pro Bowls: Matt Jones, Juwan Mixon, and HaHa Clinton-Dix. Matt Jones had one, is on his first. Juwan Mixon went to his first, and HaHa Clinton-Dix is in his second Pro Bowl. Now, I signed Noah Spence in the offseason, and he is not on here because he's still hurt with a broken thumb. He turned out to have 58 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles on 1,106 snaps. Basically missed the playoffs. He was third in sacks. I gave him a B on it. Wasn't quite as good as Danielle Hunter, but he was still pretty good. And he had a lot of tackles for a loss. He just didn't have the quarterback sacks. And a tackle for a loss is kind of the same thing, isn't it? In real life, a sack is more tackling a running back in the background is like, oh, okay, well, he lost a couple yards, but tackling a quarterback for some reason ruins the play because it could have passed it for farther. That's why sacks seem a little more whatever. Our second free agent signing was Danielle Hunter, and 59 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 13 sacks, 1 pass defense on 1,114 snaps, first in sacks on the team. I gave that an A signing. You can get an A+ signing if you get 15 plus sacks for defensive linemen, but 13 is nothing to snap at. I think that's what Zadarius Smith had or something like that, so pretty good thing. Then we brought in Cyrus Jones to be the nickel back. Normally he wouldn't be, but Kendall Fuller got hurt, so he had to play in the Super Bowl. He had 41 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 1 interception, and 6 pass defenses on almost 750 snaps. He missed 4 games due to injury. I gave him a C+. His production was pretty good for considering, but he wasn't great or anything. And then we also signed Kyle Brazida. I don't even know how you say that. Brinza? I don't know. Anyways, he was 82% field goal, missing a bunch of long kicks. He was 5 for 8 on long kicks. 56 was his long, and 97% on his extra points. I gave him a B. We had Jake Ryan come in and be the backup, and he played 345 snaps, which he had 6 tackles, 1 sack, and a pass defense. I gave him a C. He did his backup job, but it was whatever. I thought I signed Jay Ajayi later in the season, but for some reason my sheet says I signed him earlier in the season, and he didn't play much, and gave him a C. He wasn't great. He was supposed to kind of take over it for Eddie Lacy, but he couldn't do it, so it is what it is. Definitely no Matt Jones. Gave him a C on that. We signed a couple practice squad players, and then we had to sign because of injuries. We signed this one off the practice squad just for the playoffs. I like to try to re-sign him after I get some salary cap from cutting players, but we'll see what happens. And then Lancaster, just for the Super Bowl, didn't do much, didn't do anything, gave him an incomplete. And then Trent Cartwright for the last spot for the injured reserve people. So that was our signed players, and that's kind of how I feel their grades went through the year. And they're still going to be with us more, but this was this first year. How was the return on investment in the first year? We re-signed only one player, due to poor salary cap management or something. And that would be Sean Fitzsimmons. He had 80 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 3 interceptions, 6 pass defenses, and 1 defensive touchdown. It's a mouthful. On 1,059 snaps. Second in tackles, first on interceptions. A B+ for his year, and that's why he got re-signed. He is part of the future for the Packers. And is he not still a 3-4 pass rushing outside, right side out linebacker? Because his man and zone are weak, I guess. But I was pretty happy with that. Okay. Next up on our list is the not re-signs. And because we have no salary cap, these people on the list, I'm going to look at them during the off season, in the free agent market after I cut some players. See if I can. I don't think I will be able to. I think that's the facts of life. That's like when the Saints had to get rid of Jimmy Graham, even though he was kind of on the downside of his career. He still wasn't quite there yet when he went to the Seahawks. Get something to drink there. So first up, Romel Foreman. First 3 years of his career were pretty good. I mean, he allowed us to get rid of Richard Rodgers, and did good. Did not do good, and just not as explosive. But he was really good in the Super Bowl. I gave him a D+. We do not include the Super Bowl in this game, so we'll see what happens. I don't think he's coming back next year. Next up is Aaron Womack, who played all 4 years, was drafted with us, and he had 41 tackles, 1 sack, 4 pass defenses on 839 snaps. It's time to move on. Didn't want to stop him. I didn't want to re-sign him anyways. I just don't feel like he's a playmaking safety. But he pushed out the wide receiver, Dorrell Beckham, and saved him from having a touchdown. They only kicked the field goal. Mind you, we won quite handily anyways, but that really set the tone for that fourth quarter. This is a big Super Bowl play there. Okay. J.C. Tretter is a free agent, and he only gave up 2 sacks the entire season on 1,185 snaps. This is a cap casualty. I guess I would re-sign him, but he is a 78 overall. He's going to hit regression and stuff like that. It's not terrible, but I guess I'm just letting him go. Jay Ajayi, we talked about already. He's not going to be back. Giving him a C even seems like too much of a grade. Javonte Griffin is the backup to HaHa Clinton Dix. I was thinking about switching HaHa over to Strong, but we'll see. Javonte would have been the starter then, but instead he is going to test free agency. 6 tackles, 1 pass defense, 1 block kick on 210 snaps. Time to move on. Just didn't have the salary cap, not in the future kind of thing. Next up is Arsenio Battle, and he is a backup tackle. 0 sacks on 129 snaps. He didn't play too much, but when he did play, he didn't give up anything. He's a cap casualty. Ben Law, we're going to go quickly through these now. Ben Law, 0 snaps on 202 snaps. He's an F player, just didn't do anything with his time. Kirby Holt is a right outside linebacker. This one right here. He had 3 tackles on 220 snaps. F player, didn't get much done. Greenberry is a F player, 1 tackle on 88 snaps. Joey Wooten, a half a sack on 23 snaps. That's actually pretty good, but I gave him an F. We'll knock that up to a B. Tyreek Hill did not turn out to be the player he is in real life. And that's what happens. 21 snaps, 1 that's 5 catches, 62 yards on 100 snaps, and that was the end of his. He is gone. And then cornerback for this is a project player that we signed off the practice squad because we needed a cornerback for the playoffs. And he's got great speed. I will try to re-sign him when I get some salary cap straightened out, but he was just signed for the playoffs. Zavius Langster, again, he was signed for the playoffs, so just is what it is. And Trent Cartwright was a playoff signing, so nothing there. That's that for that. Hold on one. Okay, I wish I could show you the screen because it would be easier, but basically I keep track of my draft picks, see how they do, and then I put them on a sheet to, see how long they last or whatever. And basically, no 17 draft picks are going to be on the team next year. They're all gone. Ramel Foreman, Aaron Womack, and Javonte Griffin were the only ones left, and they're all gone after this year. Maybe Ramel Foreman, we'll see. The 18 draft pick, first round, was Neil Stallings. We all know that he's not as good as John Riviera, but it's pretty good. 101 tackles, 1 interception, 14 pass defenses, 3 forced fumbles on 1,134 snaps. A- material. He started as a 77. He's an 88 overall after 3 years. Next up is our second round pick from 18, Shaheen Favors. Big explosive plays come occasionally. And punt returner, kick returner. 721 yards, 7 touchdowns on 697 snaps. First in yards, second in TDs. I gave him an A. He's a big part of our offense. Luke Wallen, the fullback. This was a miss on my part. The other fullback was probably much better. The Seahawks fullback. And but we were second in rushing. I gave him a B. I'll quickly go check out the Seahawks fullback that I said, 87 overall. So there you go. That's what I skipped out on. But it is what it is. Next up on our team, right guard Josiah Doublefield actually lost his position. He was starting and now he's not anymore. 0 sacks on 545 snaps. He played half the season as the starter, so he didn't give up anything. So he's good, B+. Might have been better to keep him in. Backup quarterback, Mr. Gunn, 59%, 108 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception on 122 snaps. Gave him a C. Anton Flynn, the other speedster, not as great. 12 receptions, 232 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was 16 yards on 245 snaps. I gave him a C+. Just not as good. For a minute, did you know that we won the Super Bowl? It was awesome. Anyways, we're on our 7th round pick in 2018, Grief Hickman, and he got an incomplete grade. He didn't play too much. 0 stats on 18 snaps. Next up, 19 first round pick, 21st pick overall was Jawan Mixon, and he went to the Pro Bowl. 47 tackles, 16 tackles for a loss, 9 sacks, 1 pass defended, and a forced fumble, I think. And that was on 897 snaps. So, he did really well. Second on the team in sacks. Phenomenal. A grade. Next up, we drafted a tight end. And that was Wyatt Tomlinson. And he had 17 catches, 161, 1 touchdown, and 481 snaps. Gave him C+ because he helped block for our very good run game. Defensively, J.T. Fender. And he was a third-round pick. He had 28 tackles, 1 pass defense, and a touchdown on defense on 529 snaps, 526 snaps. He played a lot. He's not much of a playmaker either. But I'm always wondering if the strong safety position is not a playmaking position where the free safety is supposed to be. But, yep, not impressed. And he got a D. The other one was Emilio Copeland, and he didn't play enough. So he got 1 pass defense on 52 snaps. I gave him incomplete grade. We had Anton Cherry, which is a tight end, and that was our 4th round pick. He was on a practice squad. Will Maring got to be the starter in the playoffs. He got an incomplete grade. He held his own. I mean, he was the starter in the playoffs, and we won all our playoff games, so there you go. Next up is our punter in the 7th round, and let's talk about him. He had a gross average of 48.3 yards, which was first in the NFL. He had a net average of 43 yards, which isn't really his problem more than is the gunners and all that stuff. But I mean, if you line drive a punt down there, the coverage can't get down there enough time. But he had 43 average. That's second in the NFL. He had a 74-yard punt. That was the longest in the NFL. And he was tied 4th for inside the 20s. I forgot the number, but I gave him an A+ because he's turned into a monster punter who's going to want a lot of money when his contract is up. Thankfully, we have 2 more years before that happens. And then we will decide what we're going to do. Alright, moving to the last draft, the 2020 draft, which didn't look so hot. There's only one player from it that actually... Yeah, the 18 draft, yes. The 19 draft, a little bit. But the 20 draft, anyways. Lincoln Sinclair here. So, 4th on the list here. He had 0 stats on 2 snaps, and that's it. So he got an incomplete grade. We had a strong safety that you don't see, and he played on the practice squad. Jamal Shanky was a running back that we kind of picked up, blazing fast speed, and actually started doing kick returns. And so we'll see. We'll give him a C for now because he was kick returning. And then the winner of our draft was a 3rd round pick, and that was Ray Fennell here, and not as good as Fitzsimmons, but 36 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 pass defense, 4 fumble, and 505. Give him C+. This is his rookie year, so he's got a little time to grow into it. And then we had 4 people that were two were signed off our practice squad. One was the cornerback this one, he's our 6th round pick that we might sign back depending. And then we had a strong safety. So basically our 2 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th never really did anything other than him in the playoffs. And so we are done with that. We're just going to stare at that beautiful number for a little bit here. And end the episode here. Thanks for watching, guys. Going in off season for episode 63. Thanks again. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you think. We won a Super Bowl. Yay!